as well go crazy and hairless, dealing with a topic that would most likely stir up some controversy.
Yes. It's an interesting case what we're about to talk about tonight, you know. But I would like to say to everybody in the room, welcome everybody. Who have we all got here?
It's
Man, they're all chatting.
Stephanie, how you
We've got
doing? Dot,
Dots.
he says
Stephanie.
he's going to be lurking, says he's watching
Mm,
Elena's webinar, but as usual, something weird always happens when Elena gets into the good shit.
See, that's actually true. Lawns, welcome Lawns tonight to the show. That I wasn't meant to be on the night because I was taking a wee while off, but I'm here tonight. You know, very tired though. I'm very tired after my kind of investigation stuff.
We're proud of you.
We've got Galactic Stardust. That's actually quite a cool name, that, isn't it? Galactic Stardust.
Sounds like a
Has space got dust in it? Has space got like dust in it? It's got like fine particles in it.
Yeah.
But it's also good.
I was about to say, sounds kind of like a stripper name, but.
Welcome, Galactic Star. How did you get what strippers are called? Dakota's mum, if you're watching this, he knows what strippers are called. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of them come up here to take pole dancing lessons, and
Yes.
they go earn money.
Do you learn them?
In the summer.
Would you show them how to do the pole dance? Do you show them how to do the
I've actually
pole
wanted
dance?
to try. I've actually wanted to try, to be honest.
You better watch. Pete will be in the new. Pete will be in a minute talking about pole dancers. I guarantee it. He'll appear from anywhere because we're talking about pole dancers. Hey, Louise.
Oh, I figures as I'm talking about pole dancing, Louise comes in.
Can I honestly say, could you get a strong enough pole for you to pole dance on? Maybe reinforced concrete, you know. What's your moves? Strong, I've just had a vision in my head there.
If you actually secure those things right, they're pretty sturdy.
How do you ken this? How does he know this, ladies and gentlemen? How does he know how
people who installed pole dances in their bedroom didn't install it right, and they ended up
that's what it is. That's what it is people that have installed it and he's been watching videos. He's not actually been in a strip bar or anything like that. I mean, would he go to a strip bar?
That shit illegal here in Idaho.
Really? I thought it was legal.
You want to hear something funny? I thought was hilarious.
Nah.
I know you'll like this one. All right, edibles, right?
Like marijuana. Edibles. Oh yeah, I've loved marijuana.
Cheech and Chong, they have their own edibles company, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong. Idaho is the only state they cannot ship to.
Really? Well, you're looking at one of the you're like a Quaker kind of of a religious state.
Apparently, I thought it's like they even included in their advertising. We now can ship to 49 states. Not you, Idaho.
See, that's you're missing that. But so have you been going to like illegal pole dancing clubs that you need a secret password?
Well, that's what's weird. They can host the classes. They can do the classes here, but a lot of the girls they'll go down south in Jackpot in Nevada and basically earn their living throughout the entire year over the summer.
You can tell Dakota goes over the border quite a lot.
It's only like a 45-minute drive for me.
Then it's only a 45-minute drive for him. See, toodling along in his car. It looks like he's doing something else when he's going along the road, you know?
I know someone who's, I think it's like their sister-in-law is a madam down there.
Is that not the same as like a pimp? Is that not the same kind of idea? Is that the same kind of like the big purple coat and the top part and the chain and all that?
Medical insurance in Nevada, so
do they?
They do.
Well, there you go, Dakota. If you're ever looking for work and you want to make some money on the side, you could become a hooker.
God.
I mean, there's some desperate people out there. You can you can swing your handbag at the old truck stop, you know. You never know, there's some crazy people out there, you know. Hey, Jenny, Emerald Airs Paranormal's in the room. Hey, Jenny, you're missing it here. He's talking about how he goes to strip clubs and watches them pole dance and all that.
Yeah, hey, I've been invited to haunted strip clubs before. Well, that's story for another time.
is a story for another time, as Mike would say. It's a story for another time. So let's go into the subject tonight before we go doing the mad rabbit hole of strip clubs and.
I know this is probably that was a horrible way to do somewhat of a true crime episode.
Nice segue. I think we need to go down to the Cecil Hotel. Tell us all about it.
Cecil Hotel. All right. So anybody who knows the case of Elisa Lam knows the name Cecil Hotel. It is a institution down in Los Angeles, located near Skid Row, subject to a very controversial death investigation back in 2013 involving college student Elisa Lam. Now, honestly, Chris, what are your thoughts on that? Because people got
I've seen the mad program. I've seen the mad program that Zachy Boy put out, Zach Bagans put out, right? I've seen other ghost hunting teams that have been there. I'm not saying the place isn't the haunted. What did that say? There was over 2,000 deaths there, 1,000 deaths there.
A little over 1,000 deaths, yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that it's no haunted. Yeah, it's probably haunted with all the poor souls that are trapped there. I'm going to say this. I've seen the video of the young lady in question, and she looks like she's panicking, and she thinks that somebody's following her. But let me get this straight. Zach Bagans, when Ghost Adventures, he put that out there as if to say she was getting chased by something, right? What a lot of people don't realise, which you told me, she was bipolar, and she used to hallucinate. So what happens if she was hallucinating?
When you actually watch the footage, you see a little bit where she seems like she's calm. She's not trying to draw a lot of attention to herself. Then all of a sudden, she realizes, wait a sec, this elevator's not wanting to fucking, this thing's not wanting to fucking work. That's when the panic starts setting in. It's clear that something spooked her. You don't know exactly what. You don't really see much.
Yeah. I agree with Jenny there. I agree with Jenny. There was nothing paranormal. Yep.
I was just about to get to that. But again, people need to remember, I know there's a lot of stigma around it, especially when it comes to bipolar disorder. But she was legitimately diagnosed and had a history of having to be hospitalized because she made a habit of not taking her meds or under medicating herself. With those things, these mental patients, they often, it's almost, I would not want to go through the type of experimentation in order to find the right mix of drugs some of these people had to go through.
The only thing I find suspicious about it, right, and this is what I find suspicious about, is she was drowned in the tank, the freshwater tank, right? Now, how she got there is an interesting mystery because the police say it was locked, but other people say it was open. So either the police are covering up something that's happened, or what's your opinion there? She committed suicide.
This is one of those things where it gets tricky because hotel worker goes to find her. He's going from saying that, oh, it was shut, oh, it was open. First off, you got to remember, yes, there's a pretty messed up history with that area in general. There's one of the largest drug networks in North America, just a couple blocks from the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
But still, you walk up one day expecting, oh, maybe there's a pipe bust or something. You know, you're just trying to figure out why water's not coming through the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Then you see there's a dead girl and she's been there for a while. That's going to put you in a little bit of shock. And when people get into that type of state of mind, their memory doesn't exactly register right.
Right. See, when the water wasn't working, did the worker unlock the padlock on the lock to look into the tank to see what was causing it?
Doesn't really specify that, does it?
See, that's interesting, that, because if it was locked, how in God's name did she get in there and then lock that again? Unless somebody put her in there, locked her in there, and locked it, and she just drowned. She drowned, or someone down the line is lying here. Some down the line here is lying, but being locked. Because maybe they're covering themselves, because maybe they're thinking, oh, there could be a legal case here. If we left that open and she committed suicide in a water tank that was quite big and deep.
Oh, no, there was a legal case.
We could be, yeah. Well, was there a legal case? I didn't know that.
Her family tried to sue the hotel for a wrongful death suit, but the case was tossed out.
See, there's Jenny. What's that? The door was closed on the tank when they found her, but when she fell, how did she close the door? Someone had to have closed it. See, that's interesting what Jenny says there. That Emerald Isles paranormal researchers. That is very interesting. So you commit suicide, right? Big. How big's this tank? I mean, what's it the size of this room, say? And then it's doing quite a bit, and it's full of water, right? You jump in there, you can't reach up to shut that lid, right?
Exactly.
Or
even then, she wasn't a very big girl.
Or what could have happened? There could have been like employees in the building that have maybe been maintenance, and they've went up onto the roof the next day and they thought, oh, some idiots left that open, closed it and locked it and walked away. Exactly. And then that's how the mysterious events came about.
Some of the biggest events in world history, if you actually looked at the details instead of what everybody else tries to say could have happened, just someone had one minor, oops. All it takes is just that one little moment. But even then, those tanks are huge. And small girl like her, even if she was a strong enough swimmer and somehow could jettison her way up there, she wouldn't have been able to move that very easily. But who said she wanted to?
That's very true. I mean, even if she changed her mind after jumping in, she would have just got eventually tired and drowned.
And even if it was an episode where some people speculated that, she's a young girl, maybe she got on access to some illicit drugs. Some of those drugs tend to make your body boil.
See, that's an interesting.
Go for a swim to cool
that's
off.
Actually really interesting. That's really interesting. You see that? Because I was thinking the same. Maybe she's taken something, right? And she was like burning up, and she thought to herself, maybe she's went on the roof, right? Maybe she's went up on the roof to do something. I don't know. Maybe to try and cool down or see the stars or whatever. And then she's seen that tank. She's seen that water tank, and who knows? The lid might have been up. It should have been locked, And she's thought to herself, I could go in for a swim. She's went in for a swim, whatever she's been taking effect, and she drowned.
It's happened plenty of times.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've heard that. I know a couple of police officers, and some of them have told me about pools, swimming pools.
Yeah.
That people have been taking something, they've went in for a swim, they've taken some weird reaction to it, and they've went unconscious, and they've went face down and drowned.
Yeah.
They found them.
It happens more often than people want to admit.
No.
As far as any paranormal element, granted the history of the hotel.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I guess technically, I will say this, technically something could be there flying under the radar, because the quickest way to get something nasty on your ass is to mess around with drugs.
Yeah. You've got to remember this too. Urban legend is going to play a part in this. I mean, a lot of people do choose that place to commit suicide. Why, I do not know. But then it's like the haunted forest in Japan, isn't it? Maybe it's got that kind of appeal to it, and people are thinking of committing suicide. And if you are thinking about that, please, for the love of God, tell someone first, or contact someone first. And you don't have a number you can put up, actually, do you? But in the American side of stuff. But if you are thinking about suicide, don't do it. There's more to life. Trust me. There's it here. The link that will help you out.
This is a QR code I put together of international helplines. So if you are having those thoughts, for the love of God, trust us. Both of us have been there. Life's worth living, but you got to be able to stick it out.
Yeah.
Just scan that with your phone.
Sometimes
it'll bring you to the link.
Yeah, I can sometimes life can be diabolical and all that kind of stuff, but it's not worth taking your life out. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
You know, but going back to the hotel, right? I can see the allure, right? Say for instance, I'm Joe Blogs, right, and I'm really depressed. I'm going to kill myself, and I look at that hotel and I think, oh, there's been over 1,000 people died there. Maybe if I go there and kill myself, I'll become. See, this is where I don't think that Ghost Adventures helped. I don't think it helped. I think it's made it worse because there's been deaths there since old Zaki boy's been there, right? They've obviously gave it the allure. You're like, oh, maybe there's something demonic in there, or there's something supernatural in there, and people will go there because there are people that want to like do things to themselves in a haunted location.
Yeah,
and I don't look. I don't particularly like Zach Bagans. I think he's a bit of a faker, to be purely honest with you, with the stuff that he does. Can't I mean? I think what he's done is actually he's made money for him and his crew, but in return he's also gave people suicidal bringing them in. Yeah. So he's probably helped with people dying, and it's a terrible thing. I don't think they should have done a show about it. A documentary about it, yes, but without talking about the paranormal side, it would have been fine. Because that's just it's like an allure.
I mean, with the whole thing, even during the investigation itself, were hundreds upon hundreds of phone calls coming in, people saying, "Oh, I think this happened. Oh, I think that happened." Blah 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 blah. Very rarely do these internet sleuths actually help an investigation. I mean, they were accusing people left and right. There was this one musician, I can't remember the name of it, but he was like into heavy metal, satanic imagery. He went for the whole 9 yards of it. He put out a video that was suspiciously very similar to what people knew about surrounding her death. And people all started automatically assuming he's the guy. What's up?
I was watching the show on my phone because I like to put in case there's trolls. And I was looking at everybody was talking in the chat, and then my phone went blank and it took me to the Fenderson Files Bald and Bonkers page.
Huh.
It took me there. Are we still live on the main Bald and Bonkers? That's what I'm wondering.
Should be.
It should be. That is so weird, by the way, because I could see everybody in the chat. I was watching everybody speaking, and it kicked me out of there. It kicked me out of there into another one with one person in it. The only one person there was me.
Huh.
That's odd.
Yeah, it shows we're still live on the main channel. So
yeah, we're still live. I find that interesting. As we are talking about a location where people commit suicide, and there's my dog barking. She agrees.
Right.
But look, I don't think there's anything paranormal to do with that woman's death. I think the hotel itself, yeah, it's probably got that kind of allure now. It's probably got that kind of paranormal feel about it, right? It might have a lingering spirits here and there, but let's face it, there's lingering spirits everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You really think about it, they're absolutely everywhere. I mean, there's in your house, in my house, I've got spirits, you've got spirits. Yeah. I mean, I think what Zach Bagans did was very immature. It made him plenty of money. Oh, the views that he got. But he's gave that the kind of like the haunted forest kind of vibe now. And people, that'll just attract, I'll pardon the pun here, but it'll attract that flies to a ship.
I know, and unfortunately, there's several people that think they're major into the paranormal that go to locations like that, try to perform some kind of rituals, thinking that they're going to attract something, but then only causing even more issues. Because the history of that location, what a lot of people don't realize, Skid Row, I think it was back in the 1970s, where the Los Angeles city government would basically start to use that as a dumping ground for their disenfranchised. All of the homeless people, known junkies, people just coming out of prison, even foster kids that have aged out of the system, they would all just get dumped off in this area and basically quarantined off from the rest of the city. They didn't want everything else, all the pretty sights of Los Angeles, to get soiled by this. And it's something that still happens today.
Well, I actually did research this a long time ago, the Cecil Hotel, and I found that, see, during the Prohibition, the area was used by the mafia. And they say there's tunnels underneath it. I don't know, I've never been there, so I can't remember. And they would use the tunnels to ship their booze.
Mm-hmm.
And there would also a lot of murders there. A lot of, not just suicide, there's a lot of there was a lot of mafia and killing people that didn't agree with the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to the Hoover Dam, if you look at the Hoover Dam, then you see how it's been kind of drying up. They've been coming across these barrels. Have you seen that? They've been coming across these barrels. And inside the barrels is bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say that one of the bodies didn't come from the Cecil Hotel? It was maybe murdered there. It was maybe a gangster. You don't know. He was whacked.
I mean, here's one of the little theories that was flying around, that Elisa Lam was actually a biological weapon meant to poison that area to clear out the homeless population.
Well, I'm going to say that's just stupid, because you could have done it a lot easier than that if you're the CIA or the whoever that run these things.
Exactly. Put fewer rounds of bad fentanyl into the streets and wait for the bodies to drop. Oh wait, what's happening now?
That's right. I've heard about the fentanyl stuff and like that, and how cops have actually touched it by mistake, and they've had to get, is it an EpiPen? They've got a special drug that helps them.
It's kind of go on sidetrack here. It's still a fucked up situation, but a lot of people feel that this was a dose of karma. But did you hear about former YouTube executive son dying of fentanyl overdose?
I heard something about that. I've got an officer back. I was walking about
related, but
I've heard something about it.
I mean, his kid was young. He was barely 18, and YouTube had a tendency to keep shutting down anybody that would talk about the fentanyl crisis.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where, again, people don't want this ugly imagery of what's actually going out to affect the mentality of all these people. Yes, there's a lot of fragile minds out there, but how else are we supposed to combat the shit that's actually going on without actually spreading what's actually the truth and not just what the people think online?
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. You got to remember there's so much fake news out there. There's so much, and I'm going to say this again, fake ghost hunting teams don't help. They don't help. Oh, we're at the Cecil Hotel. Man's name's Zach Bagans. Obviously, I did a diabolical impression of him. But, this place is haunted by demonic entities that drowned a woman and all this kind of. I watched some of that and I thought to myself, what a pile of utter rubbish. But there's people out there that believe in that. There's people out there that believe in him. I mean, you just need to get Mike the Naked Bigfoot to talk about the museum. You know, Mike's passion with old Zach Bagans, But look, these things you need to be very careful with, and he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have said that it's like a haunted hotspot now, because people would be drawn to that, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to commit suicide there." Do not commit suicide, guys. Honestly, click on that link that Dakota's going to bring up in a minute. Don't waste your life, right? The people, talk to friends, family, and people run about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fine. It's not worth it. Now, I personally think that woman committed suicide. Or, what is your best opinion? Do you think she committed suicide?
In the state that she was likely in, she may have not intentionally ended her own life.
So she maybe made a mistake and changed her mind. It's like someone that jumps off a bridge and changes their mind halfway down.
No, well, more like we have a lot of that not too far from me. It could be that she may have realized what was happening, but it was too late. But at the same time, she had a history of not taking her meds like she needed to, and understandable. There's a lot of people going through that who don't like feeling like they have to live their life out of a bottle, and I cannot imagine what that's like. But nevertheless, when it comes to those drugs, if you don't follow the doctor's direct orders, that's going to cause further problems.
A question: what do we all know about her? What did she used to do as a job? Did she work?
She was a college student.
Right, so she was a college student. Why was she at the hotel in the first place?
She felt that if she could, basically, she was just wanting to travel. If she felt that something about being able to travel by herself, go out into the world, that was going to be a point where she could prove to herself that she's more than her illness. Because she kept a blog about what was going through her head.
See, there's Jenny Emerald's paranormal researchers. It was a fair climb up the ladder, opened the tank door. She was traveling. See, that's... I don't think there's any spooky stuff that's happened here. I think it's been some type of like weird accident. I think she's maybe thought about doing something. She's did it. She's maybe changed her mind, and it's been too late because she's maybe been taking something. You don't know.
The only spooky thing about this is the part of the human psyche that mankind has never really been able to handle. Unless they've personally dealt with the dark side of humanity, mental health, depression, psychosis.
Yeah.
People have never, ever been able to really handle that. And that's probably where a lot of urban legends throughout history originally came from.
See, I find that interesting what Louise says. See that there? I'll bring it up for you, man.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh, there you go. I'll let you read it.
See. Mad Lulu posts, I imagine she would have heard of the history of the hotel, and as her mental health deteriorated, it may have slightly contributed to it. Yeah, possibly, but given the history of the area, the Cecil Hotel is somewhat of a cheap hotel, too.
So, I've heard that it's one of these kind of like hotels for like, it's somewhere to go for like maybe drug use and stuff like that, too.
They never really turned away that clientele, so yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could have went to some of the fancier hotels there, but some of the fancy hotels have got security cameras and they've got security walking about, and obviously the door onto the roof is locked, and all the water tanks will be locked because it's well looked after.
Yeah.
I do feel maybe there's some fault with the people who own the hotel. I think she should not have been able to get up onto that roof. That's the first thing. She should not be able to get up onto that roof.
People are saying, oh, there's all these different gates and stuff like that, and hotel employees would have to be the ones to get on the roof. Here's the thing. Fire escape was a direct path.
Right, but here's the thing. A lot of hotels and a lot of businesses and a lot of places out there, if you open that fire escape, the security would know because they're electrified. An alarm goes off, unless, of course,
older buildings, not as much. And Cecil Hotel is fairly old.
The staff were, but Louise again, staff were aware of her unusual behaviour. See, that's interesting.
Days before interstate, she was in a shared room with other guests, but she would have sporadic behavior that she was leaving notes for the girls she was staying with, saying, go away, go home. She wouldn't let them in unless they had a password. So they eventually moved her into a room by herself.
Yeah, see, that's leading down the lines there, like schizophrenia, that's kind of like believing that there's someone after you or something coming after you, but in actual fact, it's because she stopped taking her medication.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where schizophrenia and bipolar disorder overlap.
I've met people that are totally loopy. I've met people with the exact same things, and they're like, and says, "Hey, look at the UFO," and you're like, "Oh, I can't. There's UFOs and stuff like that." And you're like, "I can't see them." Oh, they're coming. The aliens are coming. They took me away last night. Maybe they did take him away through the night. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, But there's people that hallucinate. I've seen people getting took away by ambulances because they're hallucinating things. What's that? Why is the chat not working for me all of a sudden? That's weird.
No, Lawrence.
Old buildings, like, it would be cost too much.
Yeah.
I take it, is that the only video? Is it that because obviously I've not really watched. I only watched a wee bit.
That is.
I mean,
that is speculated to be the last video of her alive. She did actually go to a live taping of Conan the same day, but even then, she had to be escorted off the premises because of erratic behavior. She was becoming a security risk.
This is my opinion. She's not been taking her medication. She's thought, oh, I'll commit suicide. She's went up onto the roof. She's seen that tank open. She's went in there, right? Something's happened. She's drowned. Someone else has been, maybe one of the maintenance staff the next day's been on the roof. You don't know. They've seen that open and they've thought to themselves, oh, I better shut that because I left it open the other night there. Right? I lost my job. So they've shut it, locked it, right? And then 2-3 days later, right? 2 days later, the water stopped working. So they went back up, unlocked it, opened it up again. There's been a body, they phoned the police, and then they're thinking to themselves now, oh, if I'd left that open, I could get into trouble for that, lose my job and stuff like that. So they stayed quiet. But that's what happened.
Or just the kind of same thing as you said, but the pressure of having to talk police, like, oh yeah, it was shut. It was shut when we came up here.
Yeah. Because if they had to admit that had been left open, that opens them up big time to lawsuit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's an older building. They wouldn't be able to necessarily afford necessary security protocols in order to prevent stuff like that. But in the same time, there's people want to be able to point the finger at somebody, and because a lot of people associate the fact that Elisa, she would keep little blogs online, talk about what she was going through, stuff like that. They associate having this personal connection to her because of that, and that's what fueled a lot of these internet sleuths. But at the same time, did you know that there's actually a psychological condition that's officially recognized where people feel an attachment to, say, like celebrities, and they would feel extreme distress if something were to happen to them? I can't remember the exact name of it, but again, this goes to the point. This is one of those situations where the worst in the human psyche is too much for most people to handle. They can't necessarily handle that someone would be able to be capable of that. Hell, they speculate that's where a lot of the Wendigo stories came out. Extreme survival situations where the only source of food around was a dead body that was next to you. They felt like they were an animal, so
it makes you wonder that people that were staying there while she was in that water tank, they were drinking that water.
There was a point where the water would start coming out black, the pressure was low, and had a funny smell. So can you imagine what those people probably would have gone home and done once they realized they were bathing in the remains of a dead woman?
Yeah, a shower that lasted a couple of hours. Yeah. I think it was irresponsible for Zach Bagans to do what he did. I think he should have just done it as a normal documentary, and he should have kept the paranormal and the demonic entities out of it. And now people are just going to look at that, the Cecil Hotel, and say, oh, I want to go and do a ghost hunt there. And see, I bet you the Cecil Hotel rents that out now to do ghost hunts. I bet they do.
There's a lot of places that take full advantage of having ghost adventures come in. There's a hotel in a town not too far from me. It actually used to be an old tuberculosis clinic.
Yeah.
And Ghost Adventures actually did an episode out there. I know this because I actually got the call to do the recreation scenes. But they realized I would not pass off as a tuberculosis patient.
I could cover you in lipstick. Jenny, have you any red lipstick? We could get that and put hunters there.
No, I'm too big. I'm too big. Oh.
We'll get a stretcher. I'll put you in a de-stretchenize machine or something like that. We'll get loads of like red blotches on you.
Even and now, ever since that episode aired, that hotel uses it to promote itself.
See, that's not a good thing. I mean, it's famous for people killing themselves and that case, and now they're making money off of basically death.
They're making money off of a very disturbed young lady.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the point if you're going to like maybe a cowboy and western kind of, what's that place, that famous bar that's meant to be haunted and upstairs? You wanted to go to it one year, but you couldn't.
Fuck.
It's coming to me. Your mum had went there, I think.
Huh?
Oh, your mother had been there in the same area. It was last year sometimes. I can't remember the name of the place. It's a famous American saloon. I can't remember it.
She didn't go to a saloon. She went to The Shining.
She went to the Stanley Hotel. Stanley. Look, that's got a kind of reputation because it's past.
Oh yeah.
With that hotel that we're talking about, that's been made. That reputation's been made on false.
Mm-hmm.
It's false, and somebody will say, "Oh, but what happens if the other one's false too?" It's been documented that the place I just mentioned there, the Dakota just mentioned there, the Stanley Hotel, that there has been like murders and stuff there.
Yeah,
it's been documented. Whereas the Cecil Hotel, it's kind of made up. It's made up.
It's made up on junkies, mental illness, and like I said, the dark pits of humanity most people don't want to acknowledge.
Yeah. And it's sad to think that the TV industry would actually be wanting to make money.
I mean, think about how many fucking shows did some sort of episode based around this case, dude.
Oh my God. A few.
And
quite a lot.
Like you said, unfortunately, this is one of those cases where can you imagine the shit that would have come out about this if AI was as strong as it is now back then? And that's barely coming up on 11 years ago.
I bet you could put all the information of that lady in that water tank into AI, and it could probably write a book for you, a fictional book.
Oh, it could.
Somebody's probably listening to this and they think, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to write a book about the Cecil Hotel and the drowning, but I'll make it fictional. I'll just say it's fictional. And we'll get AI today about it, and half an hour later, there'll be a book ready for them."
Out of all the different programs, there was only one that actually tried to humanize Elisa, to make her try to get the whole goal behind it was to get people to not see her as some sort of weird true crime story, but actually as a real person. And that's one thing that's always kind of ticked me off about what these kinds of cases and just how wild people are willing to get. This is not just some story you see on TV. This is affecting real people. This could happen to you.
I know.
And how would you want, you find out a loved one brutally died, and it somehow becomes an international sensation. All these different people are calling in all these different theories, maybe even going as far as trying to accuse you of being the killer. And you're just like, I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on myself.
Yeah, there'll be people out there trying to make money. Look, there's got to be ghost investigators out there that fake stuff. It's going to go there and say, "Oh, the demonic entity with the red glowing eyes and the big horns chases down the hallway," but we were the only ones that could see it. You know what I mean? And then it just plays it, and it just plays in. That just plays into the lore and just the fakeness, more and more snowballs. But can you imagine her mother watching that?
Her parents watching that? Watching everything. I mean, for fuck's sake, some people were trying to say that there was some sort of ritual Aleister Crowley did that somehow got to Los Angeles and got her.
But how could that happen? Aleister Crowley was dead long before she did that.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, there's some pretty serious reports coming out that because of the shit Crowley was into, he's almost come up to like a god level being.
I know.
So
I
now
know,
that's a whole other series by itself.
I think someone should do a documentary about the hotel, but keep the paranormal stuff out of it.
Well, Netflix actually did do one.
Did I need to watch that? I need to watch that.
I hate that there's a delay in the chat because I don't know what people are laughing at when we.
I don't know what people are laughing at. Is it a time warp text?
Time warp text pop up from Lawrence, and he's laughing at all the question marks.
We're laughing at Lawrence.
What are you laughing at?
Oh wait, somebody's shouting on me. Just give us a sec.
I don't know. We're playing. But still, this is kind of why I wanted to combine, yesterday's show. Oh, he's laughing about the Crowley shit. Yeah, there was. They thought that her messing around with all the buttons in the elevator, if I remember correctly, that her messing around with all the buttons in the elevator as it was not working was somehow it was supposed to be some sort of ritual that would allow you to step into other realms. I've seen various different versions of
3, 1, 5, 5, 6, 7, 5, 8, 5, 9. Take me to the year 1853.
No, there's like one version of it where the elevator is supposed to represent the tree of Yggdrasil, the 9 realms, Norse mythology. And that's what they thought. That's how that got started. And I'm just like, dear God, this is a dead girl, people. Come on.
Yeah, it's going too far. It's going too far. Any paranormal investigators that go there should be very, very careful. Just remember their mother, the father, the sister, or the brothers. I don't know if she had sisters or brothers, but will watch that. And they don't want to hear you saying, oh, I seen her and she came out the water tank with her glowing red eyes and chased after me. But strangely enough, it was the only paranormal investigator to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And people believe that shit. People actually believe that shit. And I mean, that takes us, that's a good sideway before we end the show, because we've still got about 15, 20 minutes left. I mean, you think about the people out there that fake in the paranormal.
Yeah.
This is all tied into him. And just take Zach Bagans, for instance, by the way. And if you're any complaints, Zach Bagans, please contact Dakota here. He's the owner of Baldwin Bonkers.
Is that why you wanted me to take over the paperwork?
I had to, so as I can pass over the celebrities off. They'll come. But look at it this way. Come on. Some of the stuff, there's paranormal investigators out there that are fantastic, right? But then there's paranormal investigators out there that are utter shit and they fake everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying everything that Zach Bagans ever did was fake. I mean, when he first started doing it, I would say he done actually quite a good job. I thought when he first started doing that, it was actually quite good. But then it came to like the Haunted Museum, then it came to like things, and it seemed to get a wee bit more ridiculous as things went on. You remember the Demon House? That's a show you should do, talking about the Demon House.
That was a legit case, though.
I know. I think something did happen there at the Demon House. I do definitely think that. But
I mean, it's a case where even the cops are saying that kid is moving up the wall.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, he walked backwards up the wall.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, if the cops are coming out saying this shit, that adds a layer of credibility.
I think you've got to remember he's doing a TV show, right? So he's got to fake some stuff. Let's face it. Look at Dave Schrader with the Holzer files.
Yeah.
It didn't go any further because it wasn't scary enough.
Exactly. And let's face it, there was a point where Ghost Adventures was getting a dip in views. And less views means less money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the network either said spice things up or you're off the air.
Yeah. See, this is what people want. They want a fright. That's what they want. They want a fright. They want scared. This is what people want. Whereas it should be proof of the afterlife.
So even then. Yeah, I know there's a movie out there about it, but basically the plot line is that somebody was able to actually prove that the afterlife exists, but then all he really caused was waves upon waves of people to start committing suicide.
Yeah, I seen that.
I mean, would that be something we would want to get out?
I don't think it's a good idea to say that the afterlife is real. I can. That's why we're doing it, to prove that the afterlife is real, right? But can you imagine everybody thinking to themselves, "Oh, if I kill myself, I'll go to heaven and stuff like that, and I'll have a great life," right? I think you need to live as long as you possibly can. You need to. Like, I'm going to tell you something. I think we're here for a reason, and I think when you commit suicide, you have to start all over again, and that's the honest truth.
You know,
you fail.
I know there's a lot of controversy coming out about him since how many times his name gets tied to Jeffrey Epstein, but Tom Hanks, I saw in this one interview where he, if there, I think the question was, if there was something you could tell your younger self, what would it be? And he would say, "This too shall pass." No matter what the emotion is, whether you're on, you're the highest of high in life, everything's going great, this will pass. You can feel miserable for whatever reason, this will pass. Life is all about being able to experience things, but in the same light, we also got to make sure we show a little bit of compassion for when that darkness comes, because the only thing that's going to save us all in the end is when we actually come together and stop picking over stupid shit. Don't look for any excuses to fake crap. None of that.
See, I think we're all here to learn, and that's my honest opinion. We're all here to learn. I mean, you guys in the chat, whoever's watching this now, this could be your 500th time here, right? And imagine this is school, right? And if you do the thing where you kill yourself, what happens if you fail and then you have to come back again? And maybe that you're stuck in that loop. Maybe you're stuck in that cycle where you commit suicide over and over and over and over again. Don't commit suicide. Live as long as you possibly can. See if you can live to your 100. There's a task for everybody that's watching this tonight. Live to your 100. And knew that this show will still be out there, so you can leave at the bottom and say, "I lived to my 100. Get what I mean?
You need to be doing the same, motherfucker.
Me? Oh, I don't know. Well, he's got to play a violin at my funeral. What?
I can't play violin. What are you talking about?
So Jenny's gonna. I'm gonna get Jenny. Are you still here, Jenny? I'm gonna at my funeral. If Dakota doesn't play the violin correctly, you have to hit him with a large stick.
No,
repeatedly.
Probably just find a random excuse just to swing at me.
Why you, lovable Dakota? What could you have possibly done to annoy somebody?
Do you want a list?
I'm telling you, going back to the pole dance, and you should maybe think of taking that up. What do you think, guys? Do you all want to see a video of Dakota doing some pole dancing? It might have to be like rated 57, like, you know, and
the camera's gonna have to step back in order to be able, because I'm as tall as the fucking pole.
God help us all. That's all I'm going to say. Louise is in the chat. She'll video it for you. You know.
Well, probably. Yeah.
Bagpipe was that long scat. Well, bagpipes, man.
You have them playing violin at a funeral. They'll probably sound like fucking bagpipes.
It's bagpipes, you know. You could play the bagpipes, eh?
We'll have 100 more funerals right there, just because I made everyone bleed out their ears for how bad I was.
I don't want a depressing funeral. I don't want a depressing funeral, because let's face it, funerals are depressing, right?
Well,
I don't want
voice recorders and that little box of stuff. Record yourself sounding like being stuck in a box. Tap on something like saying, "Fuck, let me out! I'm not dead yet."
No, I want the song into a burning ring of fire as I get lowered into the crematorium.
Line your pockets full of popcorn and
look, death's got to come to us all. In 100 years from now, we'll probably all be dead, except for Dakota here. I don't know. Depends a bit if
my
the
medical
Medibase
history,
cover
we'll
that.
see.
But we'll all be dead. I mean, we'll all be sitting in spirits, or you might be reincarnated. I don't know. There you go. You might get to come back as a pole dancer. A dwarf pole dancer.
That'd be an interesting chase and pace.
So, do you have any shows lined up for this week, like the files that you usually do?
I haven't had a chance to sit down and start putting those shows together, man. They'll be coming soon. I noticed that the Valentine's Day one seems to be picking up some slack, so I need to get that one out to our streaming partner.
How many places do we stream to you anyway?
For the main show, in both video and audio formats, we go to about a little over 60.
That's Jesus Christ, 60 destinations.
But come April 1st, anniversary of when the company was first established, that number's going to change drastically.
To what?
Well, I put together, consider it kind of like almost a TV guide for Bald and Bonkers episodes. And the first one is going to be released on April 1st, and with our printing partner, we have the potential of hitting over 40,000 different locations when it comes to books.
40,000 different locations. Jesus Christ, no, it's holy.
Bookstores, Amazon, school libraries, universities.
But you got to be like the teacher. And here we have today Bald and Bonkers. We talk about strange things that go bump in the night.
There's already kids that have to do homework because of my Loch Ness episode.
Oh, God. I think you need to come to Scotland. I think you need to come to Scotland, and we'll send you in a wee rowing boat to find Nessie.
You know what I think we should do one of these days?
What's that?
Make one of our big projects, Bald and Bonkers tour of like Ireland and Scotland.
Aye,
we film it all. We make it a whole film special. You know, we invite some friends along. You know, we just go out, explore all these different.
Yeah, Louise has got to bring her cat balls with her.
Like
I was using my cat balls today. The flashy balls.
You're playing with your balls, huh?
Aye, the spirits like to play with Louise's balls all the time. Again, the ones that flash.
Yeah, no.
That can move it wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I was like, oh. I couldn't. I just got my gut.
Well, look, everybody. I bought a packet of cat balls after seeing Louise and Jenny in haunted locations playing with theirs, and I thought I'm going to join them with my balls.
I've tried to get my own set of balls, but my cats took them all.
See, you shouldn't be doing things. If Jenny sees this now, it'd be cruelty to cats.
Yeah, my cats took away my balls.
I put them out today in a mausoleum, and I put them out today in a gravestone, and I never went off once. But spirits maybe didn't want to touch them. You know what I mean? Didn't want to touch them at all.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Ooh, I'm coming to you from the other side. I'd make a great ghost. I think I'd make a great ghost. What do you think?
Stop that talk right now.
I'm coming to get you all. Would you? Ghosts don't actually do that, do they? I'm not really like the movies.
Sarcastic.
What's this, Louise? I know it takes a while, Chris. See, I didn't record it today, but I said, spirits, please play with these balls, and it never happened. It never flashed once.
I dare you to do that in a brothel.
Do you know any haunted brothels?
There's a couple.
See, he knows about that date, guys. Honestly, the things that he's up to. When I go off, because the time difference, he's probably away at the strip joint, and has to drive across the border first,
No, unfortunately, not as much as I would have wanted to because of where I go to work, but.
But that's life, I might go to another location this week sometime. I might go to another graveyard, whip out the cat balls again.
whipping out your balls for all the ghosties and the ghoulies to play touchy-wutchies.
I'm going to say this. Yeah, an EVP recorder and some balls. That's what you need to have a good time in a graveyard.
Didn't realize you were into that type of stuff, but hey, whatever floats your boat, brother. Whatever.
Oh God, I'm looking forward to my bed. I need my bed tonight. So do you want to end the show, and we'll see you next weekend. God. And hopefully this during the week in Go Squad Scotland, I'll be playing with my flashy balls.
Of course, you would want to be playing with your balls on camera. That's what OnlyFans is for, Chris.
Well, your account's all right, you know.
Why are you looking?
Oh, night, guys. Have a fantastic night. Goodbye.
Much love. Stay safe. Stay somewhat sane through the week, and we'll see what happens when we catch y'all next time.